Hey everybody, it's David coming to you today from my favorite study slash student paper grading location here in the loft at Watermark Community Church here in Dallas. I want to talk about the discussion question here in Module 1. This was a really unique question in that it challenged me when I first read this book many years ago. To think differently about development of teams and sustainability of teams. In that, um, I had this historical view that what you needed to do is you need to have a very strong leader in place first, and that she or he would develop the direction you wanted to go, and then you would go out and find the people who could help take you to that location. Well, Collins flips that upside down in this book, in the book Good to Great. And what he says is based upon his research, and you're going to see several different examples of this. As a matter of fact, the whole Good to Great book is about taking companies that he considered great based upon the research that he did, and he would compare those to what he called comparison companies. And so the good to great companies were those companies that got the right people on the bus first, and then they figured out the pathway. That just seemed backwards to me. But as I read the book, again, many years ago, it resonated with me that so often it appears that what leaders do and what organizations do is they try and hire this one, and what Collins calls a genius with 1,000 helpers, versus getting a group of the right people on the bus and then figuring out where to go. Um, and so some of the concepts that he talked about this week on that was to get the right people on the bus and the wrong people off the bus. Um, how many times have you been in an organization where there is a poor performer, and rather than getting them off the bus, they put them in a different seat on the bus? And so, yeah, we're going to move them from this role to this role, or this role to this role. Well, many times it doesn't work. Um, and so, if you get the right people on the bus, the wrong people on the bus, and then you figure out where you're going to drive it, then that seems like a good and effective process. Um, the example, there are several different phrases that they have in here, several different examples, but the example of Nucor said that people are not your most important asset. The right people are. That's a very clear distinction, right? And then there was a section in this reading that talked about these good to great companies being rigorous but not ruthless. Some of their practices in today's environment may seem like it's ruthless, but the way that Collins defines rigorous is rigorous companies apply these exacting standards all the time and at all levels. And so it goes from the top level down to the lowest level. And so very, very clear exacting standards, where ruthless companies are very inconsistent. They apply it sometimes here, they apply this standard sometimes there, and you get this feeling, and Collins calls it hacking and cutting to achieve goals that are there. So just some of my initial thoughts. I've been part of organizations that I think are probably more of the comparison companies, which would be the genius with 1,000 helpers. And I just thought this was a good way to start out the course. Be interested to hear what you think. Take care.